All right, thank you very much. My name is Benjamin Owusu, and here is Sports Obama TV and also Saddick Adams YouTube channel. So kindly subscribe to both channel. You can subscribe to the Sports Obama one and also Saddick Adams YouTube channel. We are here to have a conversation, and I don't call it an interview. It's a football podcast here live on Sports Obama TV. I have one of the most experienced, beautiful, and also one of the most exciting voice on your TV always and also on your radio. Her name is Sister Abankwa. She's my sister, my big sis. Yes. Oh. Esther, thank you very much for honoring our invitation, and welcome to football podcast on Sports Obama TV.
And thank you so much, Benjamin, for having me. And it will interest you to know that today's the first time I've availed myself for
yes.
Personal interviews. Yes,
since you started this job, I've been as a broadcast journalist.
Trust me. So maybe you had the luck already.
Okay.
Yes, and maybe let's say it's because of also our relationship status.
Sure.
You know, working together in the same industry and stuff. But for personal interviews, Sports Obama TV is the first to have my personal interview. A lot of people do not know my story, so
because I really wanted to have this interview because so far as people know you on their screens as a Minister Abankwa doing this job. As far as I'm concerned, you present, you also discuss a lot of sports issues, and you run commentary on the Women's Premier League. It will be interesting for people to know, a little bit about you, how you started this journey. So before I even proceed, let me ask you, what generated your interest about sports journalism as a lady?
Well, I should say that this is something that I developed when I was very young, and I would owe this to my elder brother, Joseph Abankwa,
okay,
the one that I come after. I have very interesting childhood, and what happened was that I come from a family of 9. I'm actually the last born, and all of them, maybe last, all of them were very elderly, so you hardly, get their attention for them to engage you, for them to, at least they were always very busy. But for Joseph, my elder brother, the one that I come immediately after, he was the one that really loved sports. So what he was doing is that whenever he needed a play partner for football, because he can't go and call any of my elderly siblings, he would say that I'm the sure bet. So I was very young. He's actually 3 years older than I am, and he would say that, Esther, let's do this together. Let's play football. So that was it.
So you actually played?
So I actually played football myself, right from childhood doing primary, and that is something that people usually do not believe it when I say it, or but that is the reality.
Because how can a beautiful lady like you, play football?
But I have played football before, and he was the one who made me generate that interest right from my infancy. So I would say that was how come I felt that it's something that I really had the interest to do, because
okay,
he was doing it with me consistently, and playing football, and there are times we watch football games together with my father, but then I spent most time with him doing sports, practicing it itself, and then also watching it. So that was how come I generated the interest. And growing up, looking at the field that I found myself, of which I'm sure we'll come to the specifics,
yeah, sure,
I would say that has been the genesis, and the rest, as it's often said, is history.
Well, my story, for instance, I was a player myself, so I used to play for, my local community team. When I get to GHS, like from GHS to, I was captain for primary. From GHS to SHS, I played a little bit from GSS level, but unfortunately, I was not selected for the final squad.
Okay.
Which I was very sad. So I decided to, so if I can play, then I can talk about it. I can also write about it. I can run commentary on it. So for me not to lose that interest, if I have failed to play it on the field, then I will get into another profession that will allow me to speak about it and also write about it. Is that same as your case?
Well, for me, I would say that it's something that I really wanted to do.
Okay.
I wanted to pursue football, but the person who made me to stop was my mom. because I was playing it in GHS. I continued right to SHS, and you know, by then she was a trader at the market, and she didn't even know what I was doing, because you know, sometimes our parents become so much busy that they do not even have time to check on what their kids are doing. So it was this fateful day that I went to her at the market to visit her during her office hours at the market. And when I got there, by then I was into football. I was also the girls prefect. So one
girls prefect.
In Gwakwa Senior High.
So, like SHS.
SHS.
Wow.
So one of the juniors saw me in market, and she mentioned my name, and then she greeted me and stuff. So immediately I left. That was when the junior was briefing her mother, that, and this is Esther. Esther in school, she's very intelligent. She's the girls prefect, and she also plays football. So wow. the woman also in turn told my mom about it, that this is what my child has informed me about your daughter. So she was like, really? So and it's something that, you know, in the house, you know, by then I was initially when I started, I was a day student, and so she didn't see anything like that with me, because she always saw me to be that cool, that calm person who didn't know much, in as much as she knew I loved watching football, but she didn't know I was also doing it on the field.
On the other side.
So, and I was sleeping on the same bed with her. So she woke me up one fateful Tuesday morning, and then she sat me down on the bed, and she was like, she mentioned, you know, like she spoke to me literally as a mother, and she was like, look, Abena, yesterday I heard in the market that you are the girls prefect. That I know you can. You are very good. I heard you are very intelligent. You've always been first in class. I know no two ways about that. You took after your father.
Endorsement for 2.
Top notch. But in Kwasasamba na metse so bobo. You know?
Typical African parent.
Typical African parent. Yeah, she was so much, you know, furious. Where from this? Why are you playing football? You are fair. You are very intelligent. You are the girls prefect. Where from football? So I know my mom. She has this donation, because as a single mom, and unfortunately from my father passed away when I was barely 8 years old, and since then she never remarried. So I have seen her struggles. If I say I have seen her, I know the efforts that she was going through in order to ensure that the 9 of us had comfortable lives. So when she told me that I don't want you to play football, because trust me, you know, you sleep on the same bed with me. You know, your elderly siblings, they are usually not in the house. You spend most of your time with me in the house. So now kopra. Oh, but that don't happen, you know. to imply that if you don't take care of yourself and you don't adhere to what I'm telling you to stop playing football, or you end up getting injured, trust me, you are going to die with this injury, or so rather you're going to sustain in the unforeseeable future. So you better put an end to it. So honestly, when she said that, I felt very bad. And because I really loved playing football, I was actually a winger. I really, and some of my mates, you know, at Nkoko Senior High School that saw me play will attest to this. So I was even playing for the school team as well, because PE Master 2 was even planning to make sure that he gets me into the Oko United ladies team.
Ladies team.
As at then.
So as at then, Oko United used to, have this team.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So when it happened, then I just had to find a way to tell my teacher that, look, I can't continue with the football, because I couldn't tell him the reason why I couldn't. I just had to concoct a story and tell him that my parents, I told him in our last game I sustained an injury, and when my mom took me to the hospital, they were like, I need to quit playing for a while and nurse that injury. So that was what I said initially. So let's say for like after the first term that I said I didn't play football, then the second term he started hunting me in school. Oyobo, Mr. Yoboa, head of visual arts department in Nkoko Senior High. And then he started hunting me, and he was like, why are you not playing? You said you were injured. Which kind of injury? You walk very well, nothing has happened. Why are you not playing? Meanwhile, I had decided to stop playing because my mom had told me, and I didn't want her to be worried. that she spoke to me and I didn't adhere to her advice. So that was how come I just had to, succumb to the advice and forgo the football ambition that I had in order to pursue it to the highest level. So I just had to leave football and then focus on my studies. That is the area of studies, and that was it. And since I started studying, I told myself that, look, if I wasn't able to play on the field just as I wanted, why don't I do anything around it? Because that is what would definitely still keep me in connection with what I had as a passion. So that was my story and how I developed the interest already. So
so by now you could have been one of the best Black Queens players.
Oh yeah, I could have been. I could have been.
Unfortunately, mommy's advice.
Should I say mommy's caution?
Okay, mommy's caution.
Yeah, mommy's caution as a single parent.
As a single parent,
I mean, bow to it. And
see, after your education, tertiary education, I mean, looking at the way you are, you could have fit in a position as a banker, or I mean, one of these reputable companies. If I see reputable companies, as a lawyer,
yeah, but for that ambition,
jobs people cherish a lot. Why did you decide to come into the media?
Well, when I started active journalism, looking at some of the media houses that I've worked with, when I started the journey, let me say, I started from TV. I started from GBC. Partially, they had this program, Youth TV, that they used to do, and that was when Felix appeared, and he's one of the producers then at GBC. Felix appeared, greetings to you, because he was someone that saw me. I was very young, and then he said that they are doing a program for secondary schools in Ghana. And so for that matter, they needed a lady that would be a presenter for that program.
That particular show.
Felix Appiah realized that I had a face. I was like, I just had the features of the presenter that he needed to fit for and that particular job. So he brought me on board. So I started basically as, I would say, a social program. A journalist that was doing so much about social issues in senior high school as a presenter. So that is how I started. And I remember after I was done with it, because that one was more or less like a contract. Once I was done with that one, I also had the opportunity of, joining TV Africa, Television Africa Limited. And when I went there too, I was journalism.
Which year are we talking about?
I think somewhere in 2012, 2013.
I mean, by then, TV Africa was on top when it's coming to the media. TV Africa
was on top then, absolutely on top then. So I joined there. By then too, I was in the newsroom. I was doing journalism, but I wasn't, doing specifics to sports. I was doing general news. I was in the newsroom, going on assignments and stuff. And then occasionally, when I'm free, I'm given, that 1 or 2 free roles to do at the sports department. Then, which was Jolati, who was the head of sports. Senior
Jolati, or
it's not Senior Jolati. The fair one. It's not Senior Jolati. Yeah, so he was the head of sports then at TV Africa. So once I'm free, he will give me some free roles to also play at the sports department. So I was combining the sports a little bit, but I was doing more of general news. So, and that is how I started it. And then I went to another TV station, ZTV, which is at Chado. And when I went there, initially I was doing news just as I was doing at TV Africa. But there was opportunity for me to be, doing full time at the sports department. And let me credit Michael Okule. I'm sure you know him so much.
GBC, Mr.
Pamantafa. Michael Okule, he's actually my boss, because by then they were coming from GBC to be the presenters, and I was the one. They
were taking side gigs.
They were engaging me to to be producer and stuff. So Michael Okule and then Cecil Tego,
Okay.
Cecil Tego, I don't know if you would recall him. He's currently in the UK. You know him. Cecil too was.
Yeah. Cecil, yeah.
So Cecil too was also then and at ZTV. So I remember one fateful day, Okule, who used to be the presenter, was away, and Cecil too wasn't present. And Cecil called and he was like, "No, Esther, you need to sit and do the sports. You need to host the show." It was an hour program, a sports show. I have been producing, always been behind the scenes, and they gave me the opportunity to be, on the screen. And that day,
fire.
I delivered. So that was how come I started, doing a lot so far as journalism was concerned, and sports in particular. I was doing a lot for that one, and doing the sports and stuff. And I had to change my station again and join
Angel TV,
Angel Broadcasting Network. And when I joined Angel TV, I joined as a reporter for general news. So I was in the newsroom. Producing for the news. By then I wasn't reading. I was doing a lot of reports, being at the parliament, being at the presidency. So like
general news and politics.
General news and politics, current affairs. I was producing morning show as well. So I was actually a current affairs, a reporter, I would say. So I was doing a lot.
So it's like you went through the mill from the production
to the presentation to the reporting and everything. So I've really been fortunate enough to have been trained by one of the best that I need to acknowledge any day, any time, that who unearthed me and saw that I really had the potential and I could go far. And he was the one who, I would say, trained me enough to be versatile, do everything, because you realize that when I was at ZTV, I was doing sports. And when I came to Angel, I needed to go back to the newsroom. And so I need to acknowledge him, Michael Owusu Obimpe.
Owusu said the name Owusu is blessed.
He happens to be the one who, I would say, gave me the edge and gave me the morale and ensured that he motivated me enough, because he said that, Esther, you can do more than you are doing. Don't limit yourself to sports. Do everything, and you don't know where or when any of this would come in handy, and that was it. So I didn't do solely sports. As it stands, I'm not doing only sports. But I would say that the ones that has dominated for the last 2-3 years.
It's like going to the university. Sports is your major now. So you major in sports now.
Yes. so that was it. So,
okay. Esther, let me ask you this particular question. Normally when people are home and they are watching us from TV, they think like, oh, you just wake up when you come to the studio, they open their cameras on you, you just start presenting. On a normal day when you're about to start show, what is the preparation stage for you as a female broadcast journalist in sports?
The preparation stage for me is always after I'm done with one particular program. Assuming I have a program tomorrow, I start my preparation right now. Once I'm done with everything I'm supposed to do in the course of the day, or I know that I have a production ahead, I have a TV program ahead, so I always prepare. I remember I used to have a Saturday program, which was once a week, and I start preparing towards the program right from Sunday.
Because that particular program, Mama, where you produce it yourself.
I produce.
You get your guests yourself.
I was virtually doing everything. So I start production a week before. So before I come on set, you would realize, you might think that it was something that I just just got up and had my bath. No, I always make sure that if I have a program a day ahead, I prepare a day ahead of the program. If I have a program in a week, I prepare ahead. So that is how I do, because you need to know what you are going to talk about. You just don't need to come and sit down and then say anything at all. Maybe in your interactions with guests, and the guest will be talking and you have virtually no idea about what you need to be on top of issues, to the extent that even if you've invited an expert on the show and the expert is making a wrong, I would say, putting out the wrong facts, you need, as a presenter, you need to know about it and then correct the person about it. So for me, preparations starts, always ahead of time. I understand there are times that some things might come, impromptu that you need to work towards that. Even with that, because I've always prepared myself for any kind of work, I make sure that the preparations would always come in handy, and those preparations that you need to do is for you to always equip yourself, because that's the field that you found yourself. I don't believe in only reading when you have a show. For me, I prepare when I don't even have a show. Okay. I prepare, I read. Virtually everything that I see, I read. Any chance that I come across that I need to monitor any ongoing program that I know that it's in relation to my field, be it general news, be it sports, I listen. So for me, that's how it has always been for me. So if in situations where I don't even get the time to prepare before time, because of how good I am or how well I have trained myself, that I need to read and prepare for anything, any eventuality, I would say that is what has kept me going.
Wow, you are working in an area which is mainly dominated by men. I mean the sports area. So if I want to count the number of female presenters or female sports journalists we have in Ghana, I can just close my eyes and count you guys. How do you cope with this situation? What are some of the challenges working mainly among men?
It's been very challenging, extremely challenging. But what has, I for one, helped me the most is the determination, the focus. I don't know, some few weeks ago I was on air, precisely on Angel FM, and I was sharing with them where I started playing football. And I was playing among males. I was playing with boys. So I got to know how boys were, because you know there are some of the boys, or there are some of the men that they are very, very encouraging, very, very acceptive, and there are some of them they are not. Others would see you, they will just easily denigrate you, all because they feel that
this is our field.
This is our field. Now what they you know, and especially when, and people usually think that with what I've studied and I have observed in sports journalism, it been a male dominated area, and then I as a female trying to take my place in it. What I have done is that I deduced that guys or men are very jealous when they realize that a female is thriving, she's making strides, whereas they are not. They are not. Because especially in sports, that is why I'm saying that is one thing I learned, because he will be like, and after all, see a baller, and maybe I cracked the ballers, and I didn't know what about it, you know, and it hasn't been easy. But what has helped me is that I psyched myself. I told myself that this is what I want to do. So if I meet up with you and I realize that you are very encouraging, in fact, you will be someone that I will work with for years. And if I meet you and I realize that you are very denigrating, you are very discriminative, because you feel that you are a male, it's your area, a female, what do you want there? And I would also know how to move around with you. And this is where I would say that I have worked with a lot of people in a male-dominated area, but I have had very supportive, for me, I have had very supportive males around me. I'm saying very supportive because yourself, I've worked with you, you are very supportive, and I've worked with Saddick Adams himself. He has always been very supportive, always ready to, you know, lend you a hand whenever you need it. Even when I had not started working with him, I was in contact with him even when he was at his former TV station before the both of us started working. I have come across people in the sports industry that have been very, very supportive of the work that I have been doing, and one of those that I would also dove my heart for is Ankra. He has been very, very supportive of me as well, and then and like all the bosses that I have come across, Alhaji Fadi Fatal of Max TV and Star Times 2, he has been very supportive, together with the owner of Max TV, Mr. Maxwell Asari. And then Angel TV too, the leaders then were very encouraging and very helpful. Mr. Frederick Frimpong, the general manager of for TV, he ensured that my place was never taken. Shows that were mine. shows that were duly, you know,
reserved
for me and not given out. And then at a point, I also came across one Mr. Frank Intiamwa, who said that I want you to start a Saturday sports show because I have seen that you can do this. And he brought a suggestion, and general manager and the hierarchy of Angel TV accepted it, and I just started flowing with my own personal show. So working in the male-dominated area has not been that rosy, but I believe that once you are determined that this is the field you found yourself, you'll be able to strive irrespective of your gender, especially as a female wanting to break barrier and then take your place, and then seeing sports journalism as one of those other normal professions that people of any gender at all get the avenue, get the opportunity to also strive on.
Well, there's this perception out there that if you are a female, before you can go to the top, I mean, you need to exchange your body for the fame that you are so desirous for. I mean, in your journey as a sports journalist, have you ever faced, I mean, some of these problems before?
That's where I would say that for me, I've been fortunate. I've not been, you know, I've not had such awful experience before. And I think it's because I know my worth.
Okay.
I know what I bring to the table. I'll be able to do something better than a male. I know what's my competence. You give me a show, I deliver. I just don't deliver. I deliver efficiently. You hand me a role, and I do it. So why would you want to harass me that if you don't do this, you wouldn't get the opportunity to do this? If you give me the opportunity, I know my worth. I'll get better ones than the one that you gave me.
So you actually, I mean, would rather choose to live in such situation than to accept that offer that maybe, oh, let me have my way with you, I'll give you this. I mean, we are the bosses, I'll give you this program. I mean, it will shoot you to the limelight. You rather choose
I would rather prefer to walk away. And that's what I'm saying, that I know my competence. It's when you don't know your worth, when you feel that the Takashibi never also okay,
or mommy favor,
me favor, and to the some in Dakra na sabi if I don't even know how to do the job and I go and sit on air and I just present anyhow haphazardly, so absurdly, in the long run he can't do anything to me because or the me be no the mommy. You know, I exchanged something in return for that favor. No, it hasn't happened to me. That's why I'm saying that I know my worth. So once I know that I can do this, you are bringing me on board because you've seen that wealth that comes along with my brand. You are giving me this opportunity because you see me as the ideal candidate to do it. Then once I'm on board, let me do it. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. Once I'm on board, but if you think that unless I, you know, give something out before this is given to me, I'm sorry, you would have to take your job back.
Wow. Are you a Nigerian?
What a question. I'm not a Nigerian.
But you look like one.
I look like one. Well, let's say I grew up there partially.
Nigeria?
Yeah, in Nigeria.
Which part of Nigeria? Which state? In
the northern part, Sokoto State.
Wow.
I grew up in typical northern part of Nigeria, Sokoto State.
For I mean, how many years?
I left there, let's say, at the age of, let's say around 13, 14.
Oh.
That was when I left there. So I have stayed in Nigeria before for less like a decade.
You speak their language?
Yeah, I speak some of their languages. Yeah, it's. I speak some of their languages.
What's the, I mean, the climate change, the difference between Nigeria and Ghana?
Well, like I indicated earlier, I stayed in the northern part. So you should expect to have that typical normal weather that comes along in the northern part of most countries. You know, it's usually sunny over there, and then when it's rainy time to or rainy season, you would see that. So the weather, to me, I would say it's temperate because the more you stay there, the more you begin to acclimatize yourself with the weather over there. So for me, I see it to be quite okay.
I don't know, but I think this is the fact. Even though we have had one of the best and senior journalists when it comes to the women's sports. Madam Veronica Kumi, Roselyn Amo, and others. I mean, they have really paved the way for you guys to come. But you are the first female English commentator in Ghana. How does it feel?
I feel honored.
Okay.
Absolutely honored and very grateful. At least I'm saying that because I need to give you a rundown of how it was started.
I really want to listen. I mean,
it's something that was not part of it. I was doing virtually everything. Presentation about commentary was a no for me then. Well, so this is it. I remember Ghana. For the Ghana Football Association, they wanted to make sure that the Women's Premier League was also
live on TV,
just like the Women's FA Cup. So they wanted to use finals of these Women's Premier League and the Women's FA Cup as a piloting stage. So
they wanted to use it, I mean, as a piloting before they can be sure if they will take coverage of it or not.
So I remember it was one fateful Friday in our group, Women in Sports, the group, and they said that they wanted a commentator and that they've been tasked to get one of the women in sports or female journalists to be a commentator for the final of Women's Premier League. And it was very challenging, and it was a conversation that had been taking place virtually almost half of the day, but I wasn't aware until somebody tagged me in the group. And that was when my attention came to the chats and everything that they were discussing in the group. And I realized that the person who tagged me was Genevieve Nabedina. And she was the one who tagged me, and she said that, Esther, this one that you have to, she always speaks PJ. Esther, this one that you have to make sure that you do it for us. So if you don't do it right now, we are going to be disgraced. She was just giving me that push. And I was like, telling her, this woman's thing. She was, no, you have to do it. If you don't do it right now, they are going to disgrace us, And she was talking like that. So, and I don't know whether it's coincidental or not. I'm tempted to believe that she might have been the one who maybe prompted Pofuankra that they've spoken to me and I've accepted to do it. So I was there and he called and he said, so tomorrow I'm going to do the commentary. And I said, senior, commentary, me that. Not English. And he said, yes. You've been doing GPL, so it's a normal English and football terms of which you understand. You already know how to express yourself. So, and commentary is about description. Describe an action that you see while the game is ongoing. So I want you to do it. That is the task that I'm giving you. Go and do it. And it was just less than a day notice. It was very, very challenging. That day I didn't sleep. I was really tensed, wondering what I was going to say. It's a final, all balls, and everyone's attention was going to be on the finals, and I was wondering what I was going to say. And as a first timer, that day when I started, I was fumbling, scared, I should say. And at a point, after I was done with my first 5 minutes, challenge Rokraman yet. I didn't know what intro was. I was so tense, and after I was done with it, I realized that, and by then my phone was on low battery, so I didn't even know what happened next. So I got to the house and I charged my phone and I saw messages, people tagging me, wow, Esther, you're doing this. The
message, the positive ones were coming.
The positive ones were coming, and I said, oh, so after all, in as much as I was scared, I didn't perform poorly. I didn't perform poorly, so, and that was when I decided that, okay, having seen that, it was my first time, and we needed to do another final a week after. So I said that, okay, I need to do my best to be better than I did in my first one. And if I'm talking of commentary, I need to give massive, thanks to the hierarchy of Max TV, especially Mr. Maxwell, the owner of Max, and then group director for IMAX Media, Mr. Alhaji Fadi Fatal, and Nanaya Pofuankra, the head of sports. They've been very, very supportive. Virtually every commentator at Maxim, when they started and they realized that I had started doing commentary, and they knew that no, Esther had the potential. Sicho, Nana Dakwa, Jude, Prince, they've been supportive, and I would say, and that is what has kept me going. So I really feel very honored and very grateful that I've been able to tap into that potential that I had, that I myself wasn't ready to allow myself, you know, to fully capitalize and maximize on it. But in the long run, after that push from my colleagues, Nabedina and Nana Apofuankra, and the opportunity also given to me by Max TV, I can say that now I am virtually an improved version of myself in college.
Your partnership with your best friend,
Nabedina.
No,
Aisha.
No, Fadi's wife.
Nafisa Fata. Yeah, so yes, that one too has.
I mean, very good partnership.
You know, the partnership I started with
Aisha,
and then I came to Na, and now I'm doing it with Aki. Nafisa Fata.
So yesterday, after Ghana versus Rwanda game, I mean, barely on social media, everybody was calling out your name, and I mean, they are even trying to say Star Times should try you on some of the Ghana Premier League commentary, not only strictly. I mean, they should not treat you to do the Women's Premier League only. They should also sometimes try you on some of the games in the Ghana Premier League. Will you accept that challenge in case it comes your way?
Life is full of challenges.
And risk.
And I believe in risk as well. And if you don't start from somewhere, you can never, make it. You need to take a step ahead. And that's why it said that the journey of 1,000 miles, always begins with a step. So I believe that if the challenge should be thrown to me, and just like I accepted to start doing the Women's Premier League, why not? After all, for now, those that have the best leagues in the world, they have set the examples. We have the best practices out there. Yeah. You watch women's, you watch English Premier League, and top games involving City, Liverpool, and what have you. You would hear a female commentator doing it, and I believe that once some of those have set the pace, definitely some of us that have also just started will have to also be on that same strategy and trajectory. So I believe that if that challenge would come, I would wholeheartedly embrace.
Esther, does it pay to be a sports journalist?
Well, this is relative. This is relative. My godfather in the media industry, Mr. Michael Osu-Bimpe, told me that journalism is about what you have in your mind. What you have in your mind.
Okay.
How knowledgeable you are. Trust me, if you are knowledgeable, you would be able to do a lot for yourself. Not solely, you relying on what you are being paid in your monthly remunerations,
Okay.
So I wouldn't, that's what I'm saying, it's relative. Because maybe I might be earning a lot, or maybe I might not be earning a lot. So assuming I'm earning a lot, and I say that it really pays to be a sports journalist. Meanwhile, somebody is in the same profession, that person is earning less. So that person would tell you that
it doesn't pay.
It doesn't pay. So that one, it's very subjective. And I believe that once you have the passion, in the inky industry, that is with what we are doing, once you have the passion and you are always a step ahead, thinking ahead, looking for those loopholes to maximize on, looking for those errors, those opportunities that people have not even tapped into it, you are going to earn a lot, even if you are into sports journalism or whatever. What happens is that a journalist is a journalist. It cuts across.
Yeah.
So I would say that one is subjective. I might say that of course it pays, but another person that you would have an interview with would say it doesn't.
I mean, I know you to be one of the hardworking ladies I've met. I mean, I know you also have a business businesswoman. How's your business? Doing? I mean, your clothing line, and
my clothing line yet, and let's see, apparels, virtually everything, because I sell sneakers, I sell male and female wears. It's really striving.
So today I decided to wear this.
For my collection.
I personally yes, because this is one of Esther's collections, so she actually gave it to me. His younger brother. So I mean, you are doing great for yourself, and I wish one of these days, CAF Intercontinental Championship for women's, the Women's Champions League, and also the Women's Alcon in proper. You hear your voice, I mean, as one of the commentators. My only wish is for Ghana to qualify. If Ghana qualify, you will definitely stand a chance to be selected to be one of the commentators. And I surely believe for Henry Asante Chum, Benjamin, Willie Graham, Redwan Asante, Kwabena Yeboah, Christopher Poku, they have already set the pace, and I know when it gets to your time, you also excel in that field.
Thank
so
you.
We wish you well, and thank you very much for honoring our invitation. What would be your last words? I mean, somebody is watching, a mother, a young girl who is inspired by your story and want to follow your footsteps. What would be your advice for such? Well,
my advice to anyone aspiring to, venture into journalism, or maybe with specifics into sports journalism, I would say that go after your passion. Don't go for it because you feel that you've seen others doing it. Don't go into it.
So no, why
don't go there because of that. Go there because that is where your passion is driven towards. Because with what we are doing, if you don't have the passion, trust me, you are going to stop along the line. You like, especially it being sports journalism as a female coming in, the kind of discriminative comments that you would hear, very, very discouraging. So if you are not passion driven and you enter, so I wanted to know, go into it because you have the passion, and once you have the passion with consistent hard work. I didn't just come to arrive at this stage, of which I'm still aspiring to even do more for myself. I started from somewhere. I went through the process. And that is why I would say that I'm happy with where I have gotten to for now, but I'm really pushing to go further. So you need to have the patience as well in this journey. Your opportunity would come.
Okay.
It doesn't just, it's not rosy. Whoever tells you that Emre Oboa, it's not rosy.
We are saying now.
Well, I'm approaching my, I'm approaching my 9th year in journalism. I'm approaching my 9th year.
See.
I'm approaching my 9th year. So I'm sure with consistency and then hard work, determination and passion driven, you would reach far, if only sports journalism or journalism is something that you cherish to do in the distant future.
Esther, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching this interview. Keep supporting the page. Subscribe to Saddick Adams' YouTube channel and also Sports Obama YouTube channel. My name is also Benjamin. You can call me Benji the Flowman. See you in our next conversation. This is Football Podcast or Sports Podcast on Sports Obama TV. Thank you very much.